Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're drawing for our June TBR. I am ready to go. So if you did not watch my May TBR video, I'll link it in the description down below. But basically I started a new game where I had characters for 10 different genres of books that I want and have on my TBR. It is a long TBR. I also have some of my student books that I want to read as well, and those will collect over time and count for pets for my characters. So my goal is to finish level 1 by completing 5 books for each genre, and along the way there could be quests and challenges. In the first month, I ended up drawing a few extra cards, which I'll put in my next week wrap-up video. But overall, I only had 2 genres that I didn't end up drawing for. That is classics and nonfiction. So if both of those end up getting drawn, I will add in my little monster card along with one of the monster munches, which basically gives that monster points. And I'll shuffle that into the deck. But for now, I'm going to start out by drawing 10 cards. I am hoping to do a readathon this month. I'm not sure which one I want to do. I want to stick with one, but there's so many good ones that I'm having a hard time choosing. So after I draw, I may look at my list and see what I have, and I'll probably add that into a video later in the month. Before I start drawing, I will add that I do have a book club with some of my friends, and our book this month is Troy by Adele Garris. This is actually a book that I've already read and loved, but I read it in high school. So it was my book club reread choice. I'm not going to start right away because they have to have some time to get the book, but I am excited to get started. This is a retelling of Troy, obviously, and I've been on a mythology kick. I just read Cirque and loved it. I'm really excited to dig back into this. I know it has a good mix of the mythological figures that we know and the gods and how they kind of all interact through that story of Troy, but it's actually told from a character that's kind of off to the side, not like Helen or Hector or Achilles. It was a good way to see it from a different point of view. Let's get started drawing. Our first book this month is The Sandcastle Empire. So this is The Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson. I don't know much about it, but I'm excited to dig a little bit further into this. Draw number 2 is The Best Poems Ever. So this is going in my short story category. So here it is, The Best Poems Ever. It's a collection of a bunch of different poems. It's tiny. I think it has poems from William Shakespeare, Gertrude Stein, John Keats. So it has a bunch of very famous, Emily Dickinson, a lot of famous people in there. I'm excited for a few different people, Robert Frost, because it's been a long time since I've read some of those more famous poems, and it's nice to have it kind of all put into one book. It is one that I've had in my library. And I don't think my kids ever really picked it up. So it'd be nice to be able to like find a few good ones to read to the class every once in a while to get them more excited about them. But yeah, book number 2, a nice little poetry book. For book number 3, we have, oh, I'm so excited. We have a graphic novel, and that is The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. So I bought this not very long ago. I've heard a lot of great things. There's been comments from people who saw it on my shelf, and so I'm excited to really be able to dig into this. As far as I know, this is about a prince who sometimes likes to wear dresses, and so his dressmaker kind of is his confidant as far as I know. It looks like it has beautiful graphics, and I've really been getting into more graphic novels lately. I mean, look at that. Beautiful. So this is probably going to be the first one I pick up this month, and I am really excited to get going on that. All right, we still haven't had a classic or a nonfiction, so we may not be having a monster card. Let's keep going. Book number 4, The Confession by John Grisham. This is going in my mystery thriller category. I have never read John Grisham, but it's actually my dad's favorite author. I think he's read basically every John Grisham book that's ever been published. I don't know much about it except for they're mostly like law books, which doesn't really appeal to me. But my dad read Harry Potter for me a few years ago, and so I figured I may as well do the same for him and read a John Grisham. So let's go find it. Alright, so here it is. It's a little bit of a chunker, but not too bad. I had never even really looked into what this was about. I was at my library on sale, and so I picked it up one day, but it sounds like it is about a guy who does some bad things and is okay when someone else gets put in jail for it, and then years later, he realizes that he has an inoperable brain tumor, and the guy that took his place in jail basically is about 4 days from being executed on death row. So it sounds like it's about him trying to decide if he should confess and take the innocent man's place. Obviously, he's not a great guy, so it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Book number 5. Ooh, I pulled my first card, draw and discard. So I'm going to draw my next card, and then I actually have to get rid of one of these 5. It could be the one I just picked up, or it could be one of these other 4. So I'm going to draw, and I get Vlad the Impaler. It would probably be the one that I discarded, to be honest. I just keep it so I have a nonfiction. Here is Vlad the Impaler. It's just a little tiny, like, biography for kids about Vlad the Impaler, which, to be honest, would be a nice quick read and easy to get out of the way. And since it is my first nonfiction, I think I'm going to keep it, which means I have to get rid of one of these other 4. I am going to hold off on the Sand Castle Empire and put that back on the list. Alright, so really we only have 4 books right now. This one's getting shuffled back in. Book number 5, The Finishing Touches. This is a romance. I've actually picked this one up before and didn't quite make my way through it. Alright, so we have The Finishing Touches by Hester Brown. This is a book about a girl who was abandoned and left on the doorsteps of a school, and we follow her several years into the future as the headmistress that took her in dies, so she goes to a school to kind of take over and finds out that the school has been like in debt and needs to be reformed, and so she is trying to take that spot, and she has 2 men, I think. There is the benefactor who's helping her out, and then her school crush who has kind of come back in somehow. I don't really remember much, and it's set in that era where girls are supposed to be kind of prim and proper, and I struggled to get into that aspect of it, but I remember that I didn't read very far, so hopefully when I get a little bit further into this and really start to get that romance, it'll be a little bit more enjoyable. For book 6, we have Scythe by Neal Shusterman, which I have been dying to read. It's been going around booktube for a while. So here's Scythe by Neal Shusterman. First of all, the cover is beautiful. So this follows a world where humans have conquered death, and the only way to die is to be killed intentionally, and we follow 2 apprentices to a group whose job is to go around killing people when it's their time to die, to kind of keep population under control. I've heard really good reviews of this. It seems like it's going to be right up my alley, and I'm excited to start it. Though my only hesitation is that I am now starting another series. Book number 7. I get one piece for the dog pet, and that is for Someone Named E by Joan M. Wolfe. It is another kids book for World War II. I've actually been reading a lot too. This will be my 3rd one in 2 months, so it'll be interesting to see how this compares to some of the others. I did read last month Making Bombs for Hitler, which was a really great book and did a good job of kind of showing things in a way that kids could understand, so I'm interested to see if this holds up. We have 3 more draws. Let's do book number 8. Ooh, we got another nonfiction. This has been on my shelf forever. I picked it up back forever ago when it was popular and just never actually read it. And so we're adding 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. So again, I picked this up, gosh, it's been on my shelf maybe since like college, I feel. When was it published? Oh, it was published in 1989. That's the year I was born. I've always heard good things about it. I'm not really into like self-help book, motivational books. Just not my style. I am interested to see what I could learn from this book. So there you have it, another nonfiction. Still have not had a classic. Let's see. I think we have 2 more draws. Ah, and what do you know? Our classic is The Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. I have a complete collection of William Shakespeare's book, but I'm not actually going to be reading from that because the pages are very fragile and it's from like 1930s and I don't want to really read from that. So I'll probably be trying to find a copy at the library or seeing, I don't know, I doubt it's an audio book. I don't think I would want to read this as an audiobook, but somehow or another I'm going to be getting The Twelfth Night. Love and Misadventure. This is another poetry book that I found this author on Tumblr, Lang Leave, and following her posts, I just fell in love with some of her writing, and so I went ahead and picked up her book. So this is Love and Misadventure by Lang Leave. It has a cute little picture of a girl. It's another short little book. Here is my June TBR. It's got a few thick ones, few thin ones. Overall, I'm pretty happy. Let me know what your books are for June and if you're doing any readathons. If you have a suggestion of one you think I should do, let me know. I'm leaning towards the Olympic reads, like the Percy Jackson one, and or maybe the Vaultathon, I think, is this month. There's a lot of good ones to choose from. Hope you have a good reading month. I'm excited to power through. Summer is always where I read the most, although things are obviously different right now. But I'm hoping to keep up my high reading numbers so I can burn through this level 1 and my giant TBR. Bye guys. See y'all next time.